Expired film. It's a pretty polarized subject in the film community. Some covet and hoard discontinued film stocks. They'll stock their freezers full of these expired film stocks, waiting for the perfect time to shoot them. My expired film? Hasn't been as fortunate though. Most of mine were tucked into pockets and camera bags. And those camera bags? Well, they were forgotten about for a decade or two, and shoved in the back of a closet or hidden in an attic or basement. That is until I come around and I start rifling through them, when I find them at garage sales, thrift stores, or even when they get donated to me. The problem with acquiring all this expired film is I hardly shoot it now. When I first started shooting film, I really loved the chaotic nature of expired film because you never really knew what you were going to get. As of lately though, I shoot more conservatively, and I usually tend to shoot with a purpose in mind. Mostly these YouTube videos or some personal work, or when I'm experimenting just trying to make something work. However, the bag I keep this expired film in is starting to overflow, so it looks like it's time to start working my way through some of it. After all, these expired rolls of film, they're not aging like fine wine. They're aging like milk. So last winter, I felt like I was in a creative rut, and my seasonal depression wasn't helping that either. Knowing that I just needed to get back out there and shoot, I grabbed my Pentax MX and 3 rolls of expired film with the sole purpose of just shooting for shooting's sake. So I started off with some Exchange Select 200 color print film and rated it at 50 ISO because I didn't know how old this film was. If you're asking yourself, what the hell is Exchange Select color print film? I have no clue, but all I can presume is that it's some rebranded drugstore film. But what brand? See if you can guess what it is before I let you know at the end of the roll. Well, we're starting off in the Snoqualmie Pass. The original plan today was for Claire and I to stop off in North Bend, but while driving up the freeway, it was just raining too hard. So we kept driving until the rain turned to snow. Okay, I tried to take a couple photos, but it is so snowy and so cold, and I am not dressed for this. So this film, it's expired. We got color shifts, crunchy grain, as well as some weird looking light leaks. Not wanting to get stuck in the Snoqualmie Pass, Claire and I decided to turn back down the mountain and head back into North Bend. The weather really hadn't improved much coming back down the pass, but since we were already here, we decided to check out Snoqualmie Falls. Fortunately, the wind and the water coming off the waterfall was frigid. My hands actually locked up because I wasn't wearing gloves and I wasn't having fun at that point. Honestly, this trip and this potential video, it wasn't looking too good at this point. It looked like it was going to be another canned video. Not wanting to give up, Claire and I decided to get some dinner and drinks just to see if we could wait out the weather, to see if it would improve. With the night fast approaching, the weather just got worse, so me and Claire decided to bail and head back down to Tacoma. I was desperate to take any photos that I could, so I decided to take several long exposures. I ended up shooting all these exposures at f8. I wanted to keep the sharpness up, but I wanted to keep the duration down. So the first exposure, I shot it for 3.5 minutes. The second exposure, shot it for 7 minutes. And the third exposure, a whopping 18 minutes. I personally like the second exposure. 7 minutes, it was a sweet spot. that's that for the roll of Exchange Select 200. So did you think this was rebranded Kodak, Fuji, or Agfa? Well, you're wrong if you guessed any of those brands, because this was actually rebranded Ferrania. I'm honestly not sure if this was Solaris, since I've never shot that before. The only bit of information on the rebate was that it said Ferrania 200 87-2. I actually really like the colors and the tones on this film stock, even though it was expired. I'd definitely shoot a bunch of this if it ever came back into production. Maybe if we're a bunch of good little film shooters and shoot a bunch of P30 and P33, Ferrania will come around and remake this film stock as well. So the next weekend, I was still in my slump, so I decided to load up another roll into the Pentax MX. This time, I'd be shooting a roll of Kodak Gold 200. So I had the same goal this weekend as I did the last. Just carry the camera around and shoot. No theme, no pressure. So on this roll, the colors are still good, and the contrast is nice and punchy. It doesn't really look like Kodak Gold to me. I don't know if that makes any sense. Maybe I just don't think it looks like modern Kodak Gold. The next day, Claire and I ended up in Seattle to go to the Seattle Film Club meetup. Finishing up the roll of Kodak Gold here, but I still felt like shooting. So I decided to load up another roll of film that I've never heard of before. I ended up loading up some Kodacolor VR 1000. Yep, 1000. It's a 1000 ISO color negative film. Unfortunately though, this roll of film was 40 years expired, so I ended up rating it at 50 ISO. So this film stock, it's grainy, and that's an understatement. And the color shifts, they're bad, which is also an understatement. As well, you're probably noticing the sprocket hole light leaks. not too sure what caused these ghostly red sprockets to appear on the film. It could be that the Pentax MX has bad light seals. It could have been an issue with development. It could also be that this film is just screwed up because it was sitting in a closet for 40 years. Again, I really don't know, but if you have an idea, please let me know in the comments. I've only seen this happen once before, but that was with a different camera, and it was with a fresh roll of film as well. As December turned to January, I lost all momentum with this project. I honestly wanted to finish up this roll of Kodacolor VR 1000, but I had no idea of where to go and what to shoot. Thankfully, my best bud Finn, he encouraged me to go out on a photo walk, as he usually does.
Hey buddy.
Honestly, most times it's just a walk, but I brought the Pentax along with me on this one. Honestly, these photos are nothing special, but the foggy and misty landscape, it is pretty. Maybe I should have paired these photos up with the Tiffin fog filter. Just kidding. I know no one wants to see that filter ever again. Well, that's it for the third and final roll. I do wonder if a different camera would have yielded different results. That, and if I had waited for more sunny days, would I have better results? Probably not though, because all these rolls of film were left abandoned, just like the cameras they were left with. Most likely experiencing heat waves and cold snaps in an under-insulated closet. And that's the best case scenario. That's it for this video. I've honestly been going back and forth on creating videos on just shooting expired film. To put it this way, there's always a potential risk of ruining your best photo ever when shooting film. There's light leaks, underexposure, development issues, as well you're shooting on a camera that's susceptible to breaking because it's probably over 30 years old. So at any step of the photographic process, a detrimental error could occur, ruining your film. So why would you start this whole process off with one arm and one leg tied behind your back? Maybe expired film isn't supposed to be treated like regular film. Maybe it's supposed to be something a little more whimsical. Bring it along on a date night, or a walk to the park, or maybe an afternoon out with friends. I doubt that National Geographic wants your color-shifted, grainy, light leak-filled photo that's also underexposed for the cover of their next issue. But maybe. Am I recording right now? Am I? I don't know. Yeah.